Welcome to today's assignment. This is an assignment I gave my college writing students to help them kind of see what ChatGPT is like and what it can do for you as an essay. I'm going to be pasting in prompts or messages to ChatGPT from a document I have in the links or on the website that you get this video from. There should be a link to that document, so you can just copy and paste and follow along if you like. So, purpose of this exercise is to kind of explore AI tools and how they work for writing. This is great if you haven't used AI for writing before, or especially for writing essays before. So we're going to just go through the entire writing process. So the first prompt we have is help me brainstorm topic ideas for a 1,500 word college essay on topic of your choice. Now, whenever it says topic of your choice, we're going to choose a topic that you care about and you're interested in. It's important. It's something you know things about because you'll be able to judge whether ChatGPT is saying accurate information or not. So, what do I know a lot about? I know a lot about writing. What else? I'm trying to think of stuff. We'll just, I'll be boring. We'll just go with writing in on. You know what? This last semester I got a lot of papers on coffee, surprisingly. So we're going to change that to caffeine. Okay, I spelled that right. Help me brainstorm topic ideas for a 1,500 word college essay on caffeine. So we'll put this in, see what comes up. So it gives us a list of 10 things that we might write about in here. We have history of caffeine, health effects, caffeine and how it affects mental health. These are actually things my students wrote about. Caffeine and sports performance, that's kind of intriguing. Caffeine and sleep, caffeine and culture, caffeine addiction and withdrawal. I had a few things in that in the papers. Caffeine in popular culture, caffeine in the workplace, and caffeine alternatives, like mushroom coffee or something. All right, so in the assignment page, if you're following along, you can just paste that into the box if you want. Next, so we kind of look at that and we're like, okay, what is ChatGPT coming up with? Is this useful? For me, if I don't know much about the topic, this would be a good starting point. But since I already know about caffeine and a lot about it, this is a little shallow, right? It's not super exciting or interesting. So we'll try the next prompt. Caffeine. All right. So the next prompt is create an outline for a 1,500 word college essay on caffeine. So let's see what it comes up with. And I've run a lot of things through ChatGPT, and honestly, their outlines with a basic prompt like this, create an outline for a 1,500 word college essay, it's pretty much the same, which is fine if that's what you want, but it can get boring and repetitive. But let's just see what it has. ChatGPT suggests their first paragraph will be, or section will be, about an introduction. We define it, historical background, why it's important. His second section, history and origins of caffeine. Then psychological effects of caffeine, health impacts, caffeine and mental health, caffeine. Okay, so it's basically going through the same topics it did a second ago, but it's in an outline. Now, as a professor, let's say this is too general for an actually useful essay. 1,500 words may seem like a lot, but it's not very much. And so if you wanted to be writing about caffeine, you'd probably pick maybe 3 of these at most, including introduction, maybe health impacts, caffeine and mental health, and a conclusion. 3 or 4 things. This is too broad for an actual paper. But again, it could be great. If, let's say you're interested in caffeine addiction and withdrawal. Now you can take this and you can use it to start a paper now. If you didn't know where to start before, here's a good starting point. Caffeine addiction and withdrawal. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the development of tolerance, signs of addiction and withdrawal symptoms, and strategy for managing and reducing caffeine dependence. So it's kind of, you're gonna see, so far ChatGPT hasn't really been useful for us, but it is a good starting point so far. If you're just like, I have no idea where to start, what do I even start writing about? What am I going to talk about? This is a good start. Next prompt I have is to turn the topic of your choice, in this case caffeine, into an inquiry question for a 1,500-word college essay. Caffeine. Okay, I can't spell. That's why I have spell check. So turn caffeine into an inquiry question. Most of my essays I have my students write, I do start with inquiry questions. So it's just, if you're familiar with thesis statements stuff, it's basically a thesis statement, but as a question. And ChatGPT did not put it as a question, but basically as a thesis statement, which is, I guess, fine, unless your teacher is requiring you to bring an inquiry question. So let's say your teacher is requiring it as a question. So let's just say restate that as a question. And there we go. That's pretty good. Again, this is way too much for a 1,500-word essay, but it's good to see what ChatGPT comes up with. Next prompt I have for you is find 3 peer-reviewed articles that would be good source for my essay on. And we're going to copy this inquiry question and just put it here. Include the MLA citation for each article and a quick summary of the article. Let's see what ChatGPT says. And ChatGPT, if you're using the free version, which is 3.5, it will say, I can't actually find the stuff, but I can tell you how to do it. And it gives me examples. Alright, so that's kind of useless. Not helpful. Now, I personally, this is not on the assignment, but I would think, okay, is there another way I can get this information from ChatGPT? And I have done this before, so let's see if it works this time. So ChatGPT says they can't find stuff. Let me say, can you tell me about scholars who publish about caffeine use and their most significant published work. Let's see if that will help. I can provide real-time information. Okay, so one thing to note is ChatGPT currently, as of December 23rd, 2023, says their most recent update was January 2022, so that's a year ago. Good to know if you need something that's very, very recently written. Can't help you. But let's see. We have Ronald Griffiths. Let's talk about psychopharmacology. Okay, so we listed things. So now I can go to my library's website, which is library.tcu.edu, and let's just talk about Dr. Roland Griffiths. To spell stuff. Psychopharmacology of caffeine. Alright, logging in. Okay, not exactly coming up with stuff from Roland Griffiths, but hey, now I have a really great search term, psychopharmacology of caffeine. And here we go, effects of caffeine on alcohol reinforcement, caffeinated energy drinks, lots of different things. Now, if I want to write an essay, and I don't like the super general stuff ChatGPT gave me, here I have some ideas. I can talk about psychopharmacology of caffeine. I can talk about effects of caffeine on alcohol reinforcement. Talk about caffeinated energy drinks. Is it a problem? Who's it a problem for? Etc. Etc. What's happening with that? I don't personally know, but that's why I would do research. What stuff about people seeking treatment for caffeine dependence? I could talk about caffeine dependence, positive effects of caffeine, and sciencey words, caffeine withdrawal. So, like, great. That's a really useful source, because if I start right here at the library website, blank pages. You hear me talk about this a lot. Blank pages are frustrating, overwhelming, and they kind of shut our minds down, right? So I have no idea really where I'd want to start. Caffeine, and that's not going to give me as great results as the one we just saw, right? So it's useful. All right, continue. Our next prompt on the assignment to test out ChatGPT is give me search terms I can put in academic search engine to find recent relevant sources. Hey, that's actually what I was just blabbing on about. And here we go. This will help us avoid that awkward blank page here. Gives us some chat term or some search terms. Help me look. And these are kind of but caffeine cognitive function. That looks kind of interesting. And we'll see what comes up. It's going to be something more interesting than just plain caffeine in there for sure. All right. Association between caffeine intake and cognitive function in adults. Caffeine and cognitive function in sports. A lot of students are very fascinated by sports. It takes up a lot of their lives. That would be a great one for you if you're writing about sports. Caffeine intake and cognitive function. Children, acute effects of tea constituents, like those things. Excellent. So good place to start. So here we go. Next, okay, this is the controversial thing. I'm gonna tell ChatGPT to write me a 1,500 word essay on. Okay, this question doesn't even make sense. There we go. On this inquiry question it came up with earlier. So write a 1,500 word college essay on what is the historical evolution, psychological impact, and societal significance of caffeine, and how can a comprehensive exploration shed, we'll just say, societal significance of caffeine. Now, before I push enter, I want you to know, as a professor, I'm not saying you should do this and then turn in the result. I'm definitely not. I want you to see, though, what ChatGPT would give you if you did this. So you can put this in. Also, if you have an assignment and you want ChatGPT to be helping you, you can put in the assignment instructions right there with your own topic. Oh, here we go. This is new. I apologize for the length, but here's a condensed version of the essay. I haven't seen that before, but I have seen ChatGPT, when you ask for a specific word count, give you something far below the word count, like about this long. This is probably 200 to 500 words. Obviously not 1,500. Title, Unveiling Caffeine, a comprehensive exploration of historical evolution's physiological impact and societal significance. Yay. That's a professor. That's a bunch of fluff. I don't know. Anyway, so, and here you can read the essay it creates. It's going to go through kind of the same outline as suggested before, but it's filled in some actual sentences for you. Yay. I don't have to read this to know that this is going to be pretty flat and bland. So, caffeine, a ubiquitous psychoactive substance, has woven itself into the fabric of human history, influencing societies, economies, individual lives. While I do see a lot of essays start with some very overblown fact saying this is something that affects everybody everywhere, as this does, both with human written essays and with this, it's not. This essay delves into, and we say, again, exact same thing that's in the title. Historical discovery by ancient civilizations and subsequent integrations. Okay, this doesn't say anything. It says that caffeine's been used for thousands of years and people use it. It's not really giving me actual information. It is very, very broad, right? We say what ancient civilizations, who, where, when, what kind of caffeine are we talking about? Oh, here we go. What kind of caffeine? Plants like tea and coffee. That's helpful. Found its way into societies across the globe. How? Why? Yeah, all that. This is very, very vague and stuff. So here we go. It's gonna talk about. Okay, it's gonna talk about the discoveries, sure, but it doesn't really talk anything more. It's again ancient civilizations. It does mention Ottoman Empire and later in Europe, which that sounds exactly like a line that was in one of my students' stories. Okay. Anyways, globalization through trade routes. Okay. Isn't everything kind of involves globalization through trade routes in some sort of way? I mean, isn't that how things are globalized? Is there globalized through I don't know. Again, information it's very flat and vague, but it is an essay. And it's definitely not 1,500 words. So let's see what else ChatGPT can do. Here we go. Develop the thesis of that essay further. I'd like to see more depth. Let's see. So it tells us straight out what the thesis is, which is navigating the caffeinated cosmos, unraveling the intricacies of caffeine's historical evolutions, physiological impact, and societal tapestry. All right, caffeine, the omnipresent stimulant. That sounds exactly like what it said earlier, except a different word instead of caffeine, a ubiquitous psychoactive substance. Omnipresent stimulant. That's the same thing. Anyway, let's see. It's a lot of the same information, but you can take the time to sit there, compare the different essays, see what you think. Now, we are going to do. One of the problems with ChatGPT is it does get a little wordy, right? It's saying using a lot of words here to say nothing. So let's see. We'll ask it to repeat the thesis it gave me at the beginning of this essay here, but in as few words as possible, which I feel like this is longer, but here we go. Caffeine, a dynamic force interwoven into human history, physiology, and society, reveals itself as a multifaceted entity shaping individual lives and the collective. Let's ask it one more time. I'm not satisfied with that. Let's repeat that thesis, but in as few words as possible. There we go. Okay. Caffeine shapes history, physiology, and society, revealing itself as a dynamic force in human experience. All right. There we go. Now, here we're going to get into something interesting. I'm going to copy this thesis. And here we go. I'm going to ask ChatGPT to share personal opinions on this thesis. Okay, it's going to give us a disclaimer. Okay, well then let's say share college students' likely personal opinion on how caffeine shapes history, blah blah blah. Okay. Now it'll share. Here's a hypothetical reflection. Caffeine to me is more than just a pick-me-up. It's a silent companion in my daily college grind. From the late-night study sessions fueled by coffee to social bonding over energy drinks. This is not how any college student actually talks, but there we go. There's some personal opinions. Personal in quotation marks. Personal opinions about caffeine. There we go. Now, so it is interesting seeing that ChatGPT can come up with something that, well, the words and sentences itself don't sound super realistic. The ideas are most people do feel like caffeine is something that is always with them. They do have study sessions fueled by coffee. They do social bond over drinks. It is a lifeline during exams, during 8 a.m. classes, lots of things for a lot of people. All right, we're going to say, why would the essay on copy this. Why would this essay on caffeine be relevant to a reader? Now that I ask you to do this because when I teach, I do ask my students to talk about the so what, the why. Why is this relevant? Why is it important to people? Because that helps make your writing better. So here we go. ChatGPT is going to give you some ideas for that. Everyday relevance, how it's relevant to our health and well-being, relevant to our cultures, economics, etc., etc. So that could be some useful information. All right. In the assignment, it says we're next going to ask ChatGPT to review the essay we generated earlier. So let's just see if it can remember. Sometimes it can remember stuff, sometimes not. So review the essay you generated earlier with the following criteria. Is the structure suited for my purpose? Check for clarity, focus, paragraph level, etc. So it's going to say its thoughts on your structure, why it's so great. Of course, it thinks it's great. How it is clear, but it also has some suggestions how we can make it more clear. Here's some suggestions on how we can make it more focused. Some suggestions improve the paragraphs, and some suggestions to include the sentences. And then it summarizes those suggestions at the end. That's nice. All right, so that's another thing ChatGPT can do for you. Now, on the assignment I have for you, it says, in the essay ChatGPT generated, choose a sentence you think is lacking or that feels robotic. Place this in the prompt along with these instructions. So first, let's go back to the essay. Now, if you're following along on the assignment, you'll have pasted this essay down. So here we go. Here we go. This seems especially robotic or empty to me, so I'm going to paste that in. And then I'm going to paste in the prompt from the essay, which is, this sentence isn't what I'm looking for. Rewrite this 3 ways. So it's going to give me 3 different sentences. That maybe it will seem a little better than the original. So you can read that and see which one you like the most and see if it works for you. Let's see. Stemming from age-old customs, blah, blah, blah. Okay. These are okay. They're still pretty shallow. Now the next prompt on my instructions regarding the essay you generated earlier. Please check the grammar. So it's going to give me sentences and corrections. Rage creating. I don't see any difference between these. Okay. So that didn't really do anything. Next on the assignment, I'm just going to paste it here. In the assignment, I have a section for you to evaluate what AI offers, what ChatGPT has given. So first, how accurate is the information ChatGPT gave you? All right, it's fairly accurate, but very bland. Oh, okay. But I also say, answer complete sentences and ensure that someone can infer the question solely from your answer. I say that because we are going to use this information earlier. So the information ChatGPT gave was accurate. We'll just say it's accurate. Okay. The results from ChatGPT are not satisfactory because the essay is too broad and bland. Alright, of the prompts above, which feel ethical for you, which are unethical, and which are in between, and why? So we're just going back to the assignment prompts that you just saw me put into ChatGPT. Okay. Alright. Asking ChatGPT to write an essay is unethical. Right? That's when I gave the warning there when I did it. There we go. Asking ChatGPT is unethical. For me, definitely. For me, where am I? Okay. asking ChatGPT to generate an outline is probably ethical as long as it's allowed by my professor. Let's see, asking Chat GPT to what am I thinking? Sorry, I got a text. Okay, asking ChatGPT to check grammar is ethical, because we can do that with Grammarly. We got that with almost every writing processor like Word, Google Sheets, or Google Docs, etc. We'll do that already. And it's an accepted tool in writing generally. Let's see, what else? Asking ChatGPT for opinions is unethical because it's making stuff up. Alright, so there you go, prompts. One more thing. Any other thoughts going through with the writing process for essay with ChatGPT? Alright, it's, see, let me just copy and paste here. Going through the writing process, ChatGPT seems useful as a starting point, but not, but would give a pretty crappy essay if I relied solely on the AI and didn't include my own. All right. Now, instructions say go back to read the entire essay that ChatGPT generated earlier. Answer the following questions. How confident does the writing sound? ChatGPT generated an essay that sounded very confident and sure. No hesitations or doubts. The essay ChatGPT generated is boring because it's bland and broad. I lost interest in the stupid title. Okay, compare to the essay to a piece of your own writing. Which sounds better? Which is more interesting? Seems more in depth. Alright. Okay, ChatGPT's essay is more professional sounding than my own work, but it is also more boring. My work is more in depth. There we go. Other thoughts on the full essay that ChatGPT generated. It was too again, full sentences here. It was too short and did not meet the assign. Alright, remember how you felt at the end of a recent writing assignment. Compare it to how you feel now. Is there a difference? So, what is it and what do you think this is? Okay, when I gave this assignment to my students, we had just finished a 3-week writing assignment where they put a lot of effort into writing some personal narratives. We worked really hard. It's great jobs. And so we're just coming off of that. And so students compare that. So you think about your recent writing assignment and how you feel now. All right. One of my students said this. I felt proud of my work in a recent writing assignment. I worked hard. I put a lot of thought into it. Having ChatGPT generate an essay, I feel nothing. I don't feel like earlier we're going to say, and I learned a lot. I don't feel like I learned anything. I don't feel like I'll have earned my grade. I feel like I wasted my time. Alright, here's where we use all this information you just put in. Next, we're going to generate an AI essay based on our opinions here. So, we're going to put this prompt in to ChatGPT, which is generate an essay in a personalized tone and use the word I. For the content of the essay, use the following. Now I'm going to push Shift Enter to start a new line. I don't know if ChatGPT actually needs that, but I'm going to do it again. Now I'm going to come back to the section on evaluation ethics, and I'm just going to copy and paste each of the things I said. There we go. This is why it's important to do full sentences, because that's going to be taking it out of the context of these little answer boxes. Boop. And is there anything else? Oh, yes. Oh, pause. Sorry, I did not mean to do that. Here we go. Okay, Shift Enter. All right, now we will have it generate. So we just gave it all that information we wrote, and now it's going to generate an essay in a personalized tone using the word I. Now this, I think, is really interesting. Let's see what it comes up with. Navigating the impact on ChatGPT on my writing experience. In the realm of academia, the intersection of technology and education is ever evolving, with tools like ChatGPT offering a unique perspective on the writing process. As a student, I recently explored the capacities of ChatGPT and, while acknowledging its accuracy in information grammar checks, I grappled with the realization that relying solely on this AI for essay generation might not be the most fruitful endeavor. Okay, so when you ask ChatGPT to use the word I, it feels so much more human. I don't know, at least for me. I think that's fascinating. Very interesting. And now we've taken our real opinions, our real thoughts, and given it to ChatGPT, and it's generated this essay. It looks like it's probably put things into a pretty good order, or else it's the same essay. Yeah, pretty good order. More words than what we did, and it kind of flows a bit better. This, I think, is really interesting because the essay it gave us earlier on caffeine was pretty bland and boring. But here, when we put our own opinions in and ask it to write an essay, this writing does seem a lot better. I wouldn't say it's great for an essay, but like for responses, like if I asked my students for their opinions on ChatGPT and ethics, this would be well-written response. I would give that probably an A. Whereas that essay on caffeine, I'd probably give a C. And in fact, I did that last semester. Okay, so generate an AI based on that opinion. All right, I'm going to pull this out so I can quit switching between it. The next prompt is okay. I guess that's all the prompts I have. So on the instruction or on the assignment, I have compare the essay generated to your original thoughts and evaluate an ethics. So what I just did. Look at this essay. What do you think compared to these thoughts you pasted? I say that it's organized and it flows better. Even though the essays are on two different topics, compare the essay to the one generated earlier using topic of your choice. In this case, caffeine. All right, so I kind of did that vocally. Also, it seems more personal, seems real. It's more in depth because it took my actual thoughts and said things versus the caffeine paper, which is just kind of boring and vague. All right, and then the final section, reflect on the entire assignment. I almost always have reflections at the end of essays because reflecting on what you did helps you consolidate your learning, helps you learn, remember what you learned, and it helps you be able to use it in other situations. So you're going to see on my channel a lot of reflections. It's backed by studies. It's important. So I just ask, reflect on this entire assignment. For example, you don't have to, but you can consider these questions. I have those because sometimes if you just say reflect, people are like, oh, it's that blank page again, right? So I just got some questions to prompt, but really what I'm looking for is just to have you share your thoughts. What I'm about to read all these unintentionally. What stands out to you? What happened in this experiment? What what is your conclusion? What are your thoughts? So there we go. My college writing assignment for you on using ChatGPT, exploring what it is like to use ChatGPT to go through the whole writing process. We have the invention process where we come up with ideas. Excuse me. An outline, an essay. Create an inquiry question or thesis. Do some research. Write the actual essay. Kind of revise it, fix it, add some thoughts, and then edit it. There we go. So that's the whole writing process. We just went through that with ChatGPT. I'd love to know in the comments what your thoughts are. If this worked for you, what surprised you. I would love, as a professor, if you just paste your reflection into the comments. I'd love to see that. Now again, ChatGPT is a writing tool. If you just tell it to write an essay and turn that in, that's unethical for pretty much anybody. Whether or not your university or your boss or whomever you're writing for actually has regulations concerning AI writing tools like ChatGPT. However, I do personally feel that there's a lot of room to use ChatGPT in an ethical way that can really enhance your writing. So check out my other videos for some of that, and I will see you next time.